Have you ever felt a tiny criticism pierce your heart like a sharp dagger? Have you ever felt that a small mistake at work meant the sky was falling and that tomorrow would be the end of the world? We often think the outside world is attacking us. We believe the storms of life are real, objective monsters bearing their fangs at us. But there is a terrifying truth that few dare to admit. Most of the most devastating storms do not happen in the sky. They happen inside your mind. When the lake of your soul is turbulent, even a falling leaf feels like a giant boulder. When your hand trembles, even a small teacup can hold a tsunami. Tonight, come with me into a tea house deep within a bamboo forest, where a legendary general named Ren is facing the greatest enemy of his life. That enemy holds no sword, rides no horse. That enemy fits perfectly inside a tiny porcelain cup resting on his hand. This story might just change the way you look at every trouble in your life. Ren was a legendary general of the Kingdom of Mist. He had never lost a battle on the field. His sword was as fast as lightning, and his will was as hard as forged steel. But that was the Ren of the past. The Ren of the present was facing an invisible war. Rumors. There were whispers in the capital that Ren was plotting treason, that the king suspected him, that soldiers were murmuring behind his back. Although there was no arrest warrant, no evidence, Ren's mind had already painted the worst possible scenario. He hadn't slept for 7 days. His eyes were sunken. His hands that once sliced through iron, now trembled constantly. Every sound of a falling leaf in the courtyard made him jump, thinking it was an assassin. Every glance from a servant made him think they were spying on him. Ren's entire world was shaking violently. He felt a massive storm approaching to sweep away his honor and his clan. In desperation, Ren sought out Zen Master Void, an old friend living in seclusion on the bamboo forest peak. Ren needed advice, or perhaps a place to hide. Ren burst into the tea house, gasping for breath, sweat soaking his armor. "Master Void, save me! The whole court is against me! This storm is too big! I cannot withstand it anymore!" Zen Master Void remained sitting quietly by the fire, gently waving a palm leaf fan. The pot of boiling water sang a soft, whistling tune like the wind in the pines. He did not look at Ren, but simply said softly, "You have traveled a long way. Sit down and have a cup of tea first. Matters of life and death can wait." Ren wanted to scream that there was no time for tea, but the quiet dignity of the master forced him to hold back. Ren unbuckled his sword and slumped onto a cushion, his heart burning like fire. In his head, images of dungeons, guillotines, and the mocking laughter of enemies spun around like a lantern show. Zen Master Void slowly brewed the tea. He rinsed the cup with hot water. He placed a pinch of green tea into the pot. The scent of tea rose fragrantly, but Ren smelled nothing. His nose could only smell danger. The master poured the tea into a delicate white porcelain cup, tiny enough to fit in the palm of a hand. The tea was a jade green, steaming gently. "Please." The master pushed the cup toward Ren. Ren reached out to take the cup, but his hand was shaking. Anxiety, fear, and anger had accumulated in his muscles, making it impossible for his hands to stay still. As he lifted the cup to his face to drink, he looked into it, and he saw a horrifying scene. The surface of the tea was not calm. It was fluctuating violently. Because Ren's hand was trembling so hard, the tea sloshed and crashed against the sides of the cup. Tiny tea leaves floating on the surface were swept away, spinning, sinking, and rising again like shipwrecked boats in a tornado. The reflection of the oil lamp on the surface of the tea was shattered, flashing like lightning bolts. In Ren's panicked mind, that tiny cup suddenly transformed into a roaring ocean. He saw the boat of his destiny being submerged. He saw a tsunami rising, waiting to swallow him whole. Hot tea splashed out, landing on his hand, burning like the fires of hell. Ren went pale. He shouted, "Master, look! Even the teacup wants to fight me! It is storming! The heavens truly will not forgive me!" The more panicked Ren became, the more his hand shook. The more his hand shook, the more the water in the cup splashed, creating a chaotic vortex. Ren felt like he was about to be sucked into that tiny whirlpool. He didn't dare drink. He didn't dare put it down. He was paralyzed by the very storm he was holding. Zen Master Void watched it all. His eyes remained as calm as an autumn lake. He said nothing. He gently reached out his hand. He did not take the cup. He placed his warm, steady hand upon Ren's trembling wrist. He pressed down gently, with a force that was grounded and still. "Breathe, Ren," the master said. "Breathe in. Breathe out." The warmth and stability from the master's hand transferred to Ren. Ren startled, then reflexively took a deep breath. His arm, supported by the master, began to stabilize. His heartbeat slowed down, and a miracle happened. When Ren's hand stopped shaking, the storm in the teacup vanished. The roaring, splashing surface of the tea suddenly calmed down. The ripples grew smaller, smaller, and then stopped completely. The tea leaves stopped spinning and drifted lazily. The reflection of the oil lamp on the water returned to a perfect circle, clear and silent as a moon. The porcelain cup returned to being just a porcelain cup. It held no ocean. It contained only a sip of jade-green water, gentle and fragrant. Ren stared into the tea in astonishment. Where was the storm? Where was the monster? Just a second ago it was there, wanting to swallow him, wasn't it? Zen Master Void released Ren's hand. The teacup lay still in Ren's palm, flat as a sheet of paper. "Do you see, Ren?" The master smiled. "The storm is not in the tea. The storm is in your hand." Ren looked up, the sweat on his forehead beginning to dry. "You mean, the cup is inherently lifeless. It reflects exactly what is happening in your body and mind. When your mind is chaotic, your hand shakes. When your hand shakes, the water rises in waves. You looked at the waves and thought the world was collapsing. But in truth, you only needed to hold your hand still, and the world became peaceful again." The master poured more hot water into the pot and continued. "The rumors out there are just like the water in this cup. By themselves, they have no power to hurt you. But it is your fear, your speculation, and your panic that stirred them up, turning harmless whispers into tsunamis that drown you. You cannot order the wind to stop blowing, but you can keep your own hands from shaking." Ren looked down at the teacup once more. He lifted it to his lips. This time he drank it all. The taste was bitter on the tip of the tongue, but sweet in the throat. A feeling of purity spread throughout his body. He realized the king had not arrested him. The soldiers still obeyed him. His family was still safe. All the storms he had seen over the past 7 days were just ripples created by his own fear in the tiny cup of life. Ren descended the mountain that very night, but he was no longer the panicked general running away. He walked with steady steps, back straight, eyes bright. The next day, he entered the court. No need to explain, no need to beg. He simply stood there, fulfilling his duty with a demeanor as calm as a rock. His calmness disappointed those who spread the rumors. They waited for him to get angry, waited for him to make mistakes out of fear. But he gave them no such chance. Gradually, seeing Ren standing so firm, the rumors naturally vanished like sea foam. The king saw the loyalty in his eyes and trusted him even more. Ren had won the hardest battle of his life without drawing his sword. He won by keeping the teacup in his hand still. My dear friend, did the story of General Ren startle you? We often complain that our lives are full of storms. Why is my boss so difficult? Why is my partner so uncaring? Why is the economy so hard? We look at these problems and see them as massive tsunamis. We lose sleep. We overthink. We paint the worst possible pictures. But let's calm down for a moment. Look at your teacup. Is the problem really that big? Or is it your own trembling that is making it spill? An unanswered text is just a text, until your insecurity turns it into a sign of betrayal. A criticism is just feedback, until your ego turns it into an insult. When the mind is at peace, the world is at peace. When the mind is agitated, the world is in chaos. You cannot control what happens outside. You cannot stop others from pouring the tea. But you can absolutely control your own hands. When trouble comes, do not react immediately. Do not stir everything up. Breathe. Hold your mind still. Let the sediment settle. And you will see that terrible storm is actually just a few tiny ripples in a very small cup. Drink that cup of tea dry, smile, and move on. Thank you for listening. Wishing you a peaceful night and a steady pair of hands to hold your own peace.